Research, basically we will talk about the descriptive research or experimental research. The other two we don't really give any attention to. We have the cross-sectional data used in marketing HR something and the longitudinal data. Longitudinal data can be time series or panel data. Fetching out the objective and simply two variable doesn't make it a bivariate. It need to have some words like relation or difference. Only with these two words or their synonym. A relation can be effect, it can be impact, it can be compare, differentiate. So using these words we make bivariate or multivariate. Measurements, nominal, ordinal, interval and ratio. And we talked about what sort of question result in what sort of measurement. Nominal, ordinal are called as the non-metric. These two are called as the metric. So there are a couple of fill in the blanks which left out yesterday that we'll start with. So agenda for that today, we'll just make table number 3. So we won't discuss the much of the table 3, but we'll just make that is multivariate. Then we'll talk about the what exactly is these two words, relation versus difference. Is there any difference between these two words and which one is to used where? And likewise we'll talk about what exactly is the difference between tool and technique. To whom we call tool or whom we call technique, or rather test and technique. So what is a test, what is a technique? These words nomenclature. We will talk about the Likert, reliability, validity, reliability, all these aspects of scale, what exactly they meant for. And then we will start for the rest of the things like working with the case studies on table 1, table 2. And there are so many SPSS options like data entry in SPSS, data cleaning, etc. All the operations are there. So we start from here, table number 3. Any doubts, any observations, you are most welcome. Table number 3 is about multivariate analysis, and it's in continuation with the table number 1 and the 2. Now multivariate analysis is really, it's a big thing, because there can be more than one dependent variable, there can be more than one independent variable. So what I will do.
So can you repeat in multivariate analysis more than one independent variable and?
More than one dependent variable. Any combination is possible. So I am taking this one as the dependent variable here, this John is the independent variable. Now 4 cases are there. The dependent variable is equal to 1, dependent variable more than 1, independent is equal to 1, and independent more than 1. Right? Because whenever there are more than 2 variables, it becomes multivariate. So actually this table number 1 we discussed yesterday, the block 1, this what we called as table number 2. Dependent variable 1, independent 1. Though it should not come into this zone, but when we make a table it will come into this zone. So are you clear about that? This zone we discussed yesterday. When dependent variable is 1, independent is equal to 1. Okay. We made the table yesterday, we called it as table number 2. Though that's not the part of multivariate, but when we represent it, dependent 1, independent more than 1, so it's a part of that one. So we'll talk about this zone. We want to talk about this when dependent variable is more than 1, it becomes too complicated. But the techniques which are used here are, it's structural equation modeling is there, path analysis. I'm just writing the names so that you know a conceptual thing, where is what is where. MANOVA, and one dependent more than 1, independent more than 1, again the same techniques are there. SAM is there, path analysis, MANOVA, MANCOVA. So this is the block which goes into the advance. So this is level 5, 4 or 5 of the workshop. So we'll talk about this zone. Dependent variable is 1, independent more than 1, and if you remember it was metric and non-metric. So let's try to understand this table in the perspective of this table. Here when dependent variable was 1, independent 1, both were metric, this was called simple regression. Simple regression is something y is equal to a plus bx. Simple regression is y is a plus bx. A higher version of that is multiple regression. Multiple regression. Now a point to be noted here is when independent variable is more than 1, let's say 2, 3, whatever. So yeah, when independent is more than 1, so we need to look for individual measurement of all the variables. When independent variable is more than 1, we need to check the individual measurement of all the models. Now can you tell me what can be the various cases? What can be the measurement? One is all are metric, all independent variables they are metric. Do you remember the concept of metric non-metric? It means independent variable is more than 1 and all of them are metric. The example is sales depends on advertisement and territory size. Sales is taken in actual figures lakhs of rupee, advertisement taken in actual figure lakhs of rupee, territory size is square meter. All of them are in actual units. Dependent variable 1, independent more than 1, dependent variable 1 and metric, independent more than 1 and all are metric, we use multiple regression. If all of them are non-metric, all of them are non-metric, for example, sales depends on gender and place simultaneously. So sales is in lakhs of rupees, metric, gender male female nominal, place Delhi Agra nominal. So dependent variable is 1 and that is metric, independent more than 1 and all of them are non-metric, we will use n-way ANOVA. So it's a higher version of this. You remember here it was hypothesis testing, t-test one-way ANOVA, so it's called n-way ANOVA. The third case may be the independent variables are mixed. Some of them are metric, others are non-metric. I think only 3 cases possible. If I tell you 2 independent variables are there, only 3 cases possible in case of measurement. Either both of them will be metric, or both can be non-metric, or one metric non-metric. Any other case possible? Only 3 cases possible. So that's what I have written. If all metric, all non-metric, and third is if mix. Some of them are metric and others are non-metric. In that case, we will use n-way ANCOVA. N-way ANCOVA. Now what is meant by n? N is the number of non-metric independent variables. The meaning of n is number of non-metric independent variable. Now can you tell me in this case which sort of technique will be utilized? Sales depends on gender and place. Please look for, if I'll break it into 2 parts, sales depends on gender and second sales depends on place. In that case, this will be a case of one dependent, one independent, dependent variable metric, independent non-metric, hypothesis testing will apply. Likewise, sales and place hypothesis testing, but I am saying gender and place. I am not segregating it, I am saying its combined effect. It means now it's a multivariate, number 1, 2, 3, 3 variables are there. So we will refer to table number 3. Then dependent variable is 1 and independent more than 1. Okay, dependent variable is 1, independent more than 1 means this block. Then dependent variable is metric. Metric means this block. Independent more than 1. More than 1 means this block. And in that there are 2 and both of them are non-metric. Both of all non-metric. This one. What is meant by n here? Number of non-metric independent variable. How many independent variables are non-metric? 2. So the technique used here will be two-way ANOVA. The technique used in this case will be two-way ANOVA. Settled it down easily, slow by slow. We will write a process also. So when dependent variable was 1, non-metric independent 1, the technique here was LDA, linear discriminant analysis. A higher version of that. So can you just see here and here what exactly is the difference? In this and this block, what is the difference? In both of them, dependent variable is 1 and metric. Both of them. The only thing is here independent was 1, independent more than 1. And the nature is again the same. It's metric. So it was simple regression, multiple regression. One-way ANOVA, the technique, one of the thing here in hypothesis testing is one-way ANOVA. Its a higher version is n-way ANOVA. Here it's LDA, a higher version of that will be MDA, multiple discriminant analysis. M stands for multiple. So LDA was the linear discriminant analysis, MDA is the multiple discriminant analysis. And in the fourth, when both were non-metric, we applied cross tabulation. So when it is more than 1, so it is non-metric, this is non-metric, we will apply complex cross tab. Complex cross tabulation, again the same chi-square test will work here. Complex cross tab, or there is one more technique, log linear analysis. Well, this is simply I am showing you from Google map where is Faridabad, where is Noida, where is Delhi, where is other places. So it's just a detail. The more zoom in you will do, the more other things will come up. And here the last one, so it is a higher version of this, and the last is multi-nominal regression. Multi-nominal regression.